welcome to my studio. Today we're working on our candy cane Christmas wreath. This is a real inexpensive wreath to make, and it's not going to take you a whole lot of time. Let's get started with this fun project. This is a real inexpensive wreath, and it's going to go a long ways, and I'm going to show you how to build it on a smaller wreath that we're going to recycle because it's easy to use because we have all of these little spaces that we can go in between. So I just picked up one of these little wreaths, and you can pick these up at any of the dollar stores. And there's also the Christmas wire wreaths, and I'll talk to you about those in just a moment. But I simply take these apart and I reuse my tinsel garland. And so I've got all kinds of projects right now. The Christmas recycled pumpkin bulb is really cute. This would be really a great color on it. I wish I'd have done it on that. But I use this for a lot of other things. So don't get rid of it. Just take it and recycle it. But see this nice little wreath and all these little things in here that we can use to put our ribbon into. So now that I've got that off, I'm going to come in and I'm going to remove all of the little nubs on the inside and the outside. And I may leave this guy. We'll kind of see how that goes as we're working. So I'm just taking my wire cutters, probably even your scissors would do this because it's so soft, and just get all of those removed. So now that we've got our wire all taken apart and we've got everything trimmed, we're going to start with the inside part first before we put the outside on. We're going to do this ribbon, and we're going to do 2 strands. So I have 2 of the same color. They're 3 yards each. I picked mine up at Dollar Tree. You could put different colors on. They don't have to be the same. That's totally up to you, whatever you kind of decide. Now, if you wanted to use one bigger ribbon, you could do that as well. There is no right or wrong on that. So we're going to put our ribbon inside this little metal part here, and I'm going to tie it off first. I really liked this ribbon for the color, but again, you can do whatever you want. The one thing I would say is make sure it's got wire edges so that you can always fluff it. And I'm going to be doing 2 of these, but I think I'm going to do them one at a time. If you wanted to try doing both of them at the same time, you can. So I'm going to pull this up now, and I'm going to make this about a 2.5 inch loop. And I am going to measure it from time to time. And the reason for measuring it is when seems like this one's a size and this one can be growing or decreasing. So that's kind of the reason that I go ahead and measure them. So now that we have that in there, we're going to go ahead and put it into the next one. Pull that up through there. And we're just going to keep doing that and working our way all the way around inside that middle loop until we reach back at the beginning. So I have a little bit left here. I'm going to go ahead and just continue working that, and then I'll start that new one wherever this one ends. So we're going to go in these same holes again. And you may want to pick and go on, like this side I'm going to go on the right side. So the next one I'm going to probably go on the left side. So that it kind of starts to cross back and forth a little bit, and that'll also help it hold and shape better. And now that you have these kind of measured, you really don't need to measure them, just make them the heights, the one around it. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to get a whole bow out of this one. We'll see in just a second here if I can or not. And then we'll just tie That's going to be pretty close. And then we're just going to tie off with our little pipe cleaners here. And then I'm just going to tie a new one on and just continue working till I have double loops in all of those. So we've gone all the way around. We have a little bit left. So if you made your loops just a tad bit bigger, that's all I had left. So that's perfect. If you wanted to add a tail, you could add a tail, but that gives you some wiggle room. So that was a total of 6 yards. You also could do it in different colors. You don't have to do it the same color. I was almost real tempted to do those 2 colors together. Wouldn't that be fun? So they don't have to be the same color. I did leave my hook up there because I wanted to have that hanger for later. So that is something I have left in place. So let's get started with the next step. For my mesh, I got about 20 yards of red, and you have enough that if you wanted to do this next step in that color, you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to do every other one of these, and I decided on this. I really like the gold. I think it made it really elegant. So I need 8 of these, and I need them 6 inches long. So I am going to use my paper cutter that just makes this go so much faster. And so just 6 inches, because we're just going to curl these up no less than 6 inches. If you even wanted to go a little bit bigger and go 8, you could. That's totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these cut. So this is a paper cutter. I really like these. These are really lightweight, but they're really sturdy. They're metal, so those are really nice. We have those at miriamjoy.com if you need one of those. So we're going to take our little guys now, and we're going to kind of roll them up, and we're going to take a pipe cleaner that matches whatever color you decided to do these, and we're going to do these every other one. So do 2 there, 1, 2, and then in between each one of those, all the way around till we get those all put on and together. So I'm just going to tie these on real quick, and then we'll start on our back. Now that we've got all of our inside, we're actually going to do our outside, and we're going to start by tying it on. And sometimes trying to keep the mesh ribbon from getting tangled with the other part is part of the battle. So I'm going to start at the bottom because that's where I've been starting, so the top looks nice. And I'm going to use just my little red pipe cleaner, or Chanel, and we'll just tie it on. And we're only going to have to tie it on when we start and finish again, so that's not a big deal. I'm just going to remove that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from this side to this side. And this one right here with a snub, this is an area because it has here, and then this is an area. So think about this being a separate area where that little nub is. And we're going to do about 2 inches on the front side. And I do use my ruler to kind of measure it out. It kind of just keeps me on track. And we want to pull all of that nice and even. We're trying to stay on the side of that nub. So we're going to give him about 2 inches, 2.5 maybe. And then we're going to do about 5 inches on the other side. We're just coming straight across and pulling that through. Try not to pull that guy. You want to pull from your mesh ribbon. So, and we'll get that about 5 inches. And And I keep measuring as I'm working, because if you do it from the one next to it, next time you might be a little bit shorter, and the next time you might be a little bit shorter. By the time you get back all the way around, you may be an inch or so shorter. So I like to keep it measured. I'm doing 5 inches from there to there. So now that we've got that one, we're going to come back into this next little hole right there. Our little nub is separating that one from the other one, remember? And we're going to pull him up about 2 inches. And once that's there, we're going to go back onto this side here and this one, and we're going to pull him 5 inches. And I am just going to continue to work my way all around, and this gives the wreath a big size and gives it all of its fullness and everything, and that is what is so great about it. And you're not using that much mesh ribbon, and just something different. So just keep working it back and forth as you go, and we'll stop when we have to tie off, and then we'll just continue working. So once you've completed one and you need to tie off and start your next one, you're just going to simply tie it off with your red pipe cleaner. So I'm going to tie this one off here, and then I'm going to tie the other one this direction and just continue to keep on working. So I've gone all the way around, I've tied off, and we're just going to cut off. And you can see I probably have another 5 yards on there, just kind of depending on how big. So if you wanted to just use one color instead of the different colors up here, you could. So now we're just going to fluff it out, lay everything kind of down, and then we're going to start to add our ornaments. On this one, I found at the Dollar Tree just one little thing of bulbs, and I just put those in, and then I found this cute little candy cane, and I thought that made a cute candy cane wreath. But I didn't have another one, and I like the way how elegant this is turning out. But I also want you to think about sometimes even purchasing them at thrift stores. I bought these guys. I got them 3 to a pack. I think I paid 29 cents for them. They're brand new. They're still in their package. So I'm going to stick those in. I'm going to wire those in. I think that's really, really elegant. And then I have a Christmas pick that I got on clearance. I either buy my stuff at the dollar stores or on clearance after Christmas is over, when it gets to be 80 to 90% off even sometimes. And picking it up, you may not know what you're going to use it this year, but you may figure it out next year. Another thing I thought would be really pretty in here might be some poinsettias. So, and I love these this year. These are really pretty, and I purchased these at the Dollar Tree. So think outside the box. The one thing I will kind of tell you is make sure your hanger is at the top, and if that's too thin of a hanger, then make yours with a pipe cleaner. But I'm going to just go ahead and wire these balls in, every other one probably right on top of my gold, and then I'm going to put my pick over on the side. So I have finished putting this guy together. I'm just going to put a little bit of a poinsettia on him. I think that makes him blend in with the mesh, but that really turned out really pretty. So I did that one under $10, and you have this really nice wreath, and it turns out really big. Isn't it amazing with the little one that we start with? This one I did for under $7, and you could interchange it with a whole bunch of different characters. I think I'd actually like the snowman. I think he'd stand out a little bit better. I was even looking at maybe doing some candy on it or different ideas. But like I said, don't be afraid to look for things in the thrift store and when things go on clearance after Christmas for next year.
I hope you enjoyed that, and just make it your own. Add what colors or different designs you want to do with that. You could do it with the greens or have poinsettias or lots of different ideas. Just use the basics to grow on and add your special touch to it. As always, if you ever have a question, you can email me at art@miriamjoy.com. You also could add the little fairy lights that we have with it, and those are really cute. It would be really great on a door because they're battery operated and they last quite a while, and you can get those at miriamjoy.com. Have a Merry Christmas.